The international break has arrived.
This sucks, man.
The international break has arrived, but Newcastle is making huge moves behind the scenes. So from revealing Keith Downie's latest transfer exclusive, to Matteo Moretto and Fabrizio Romano dropping major hint on potential Newcastle signing, to discussing why Newcastle's loan system issues are deeper than we thought. As per, join us as we'll break it all down and discuss the latest Newcastle United transfer news.
Let's go!
So starting off, Newcastle United appear to be stepping up their preparations for the January transfer window, with fresh reports linking the club to highly rated Dutch midfielder Kees Smit. According to Craig Hope of the Mail, the club are pushing to sign the 19-year-old talent from AZ Alkmaar, beating a host of European giants who have been tracking his development. Smit has already made over 50 senior appearances and featured in Alkmaar's recent Europa Conference League clash against Crystal Palace, further boosting his growing reputation. The midfielder has been compared to Kevin De Bruyne due to his technical quality, vision, and ability to progress the ball through tight spaces. Clubs such as Barcelona, Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, and Bayern Munich have all shown interest, but it's believed that a fee in the region of £20 million could be enough for Newcastle to bring him to St James's Park. With his contract running until 2028, Alkmaar are under no pressure to sell, yet Newcastle's offer of Premier League minutes may give them the edge. Ross Wilson is said to be prioritizing the recruitment of top young talent across Europe, and Smit fits that strategy perfectly. Eddie Howe's midfield options are also expected to evolve over the next year, with Joe Willock's place becoming less secure and Joe Linton approaching his 30s, making fresh energy in the middle of the park a sensible long-term investment. Whether the move materializes in January or next summer remains unclear, but Newcastle's confidence in landing the teenager suggests serious intent. Dutch national team boss Ronald Koeman has also spoken highly of Smit, noting the similarities between the youngster and Barcelona star Pedri. He praised Smit's spatial awareness, composure under pressure, and intelligent positioning, qualities that naturally attract attention from elite clubs. Koeman stressed the importance of continued development through regular game time, a factor that could influence Smit's next career step. Standing just over 6 feet tall and already a mainstay in the Dutch under-21 squad, Smit has become one of the most talked-about prospects in the Eredivisie. Crystal Palace are also believed to hold an interest, but Newcastle's ambition and clear pathway to senior football may put them firmly in the driving seat as the race for his signature intensifies. Interestingly, Sky Sports' Keith Downie has added further weight to Newcastle's growing pursuit of Kees Smit, confirming that the club are serious in their interest in the highly rated AZ Alkmaar midfielder. However, Newcastle are far from alone, with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Real Madrid also monitoring the Dutch under-21 international. This level of competition underlines just how impressive Smit has been, but it also raises the level of financial commitment needed to secure his signature. Downie reports that AZ are expected to demand a fee exceeding £22 million for the 19-year-old, and will not stand in his way if a club tables an offer that meets their valuation. Smit himself is keen to take the next step in his career and test his abilities at a higher level, which gives Newcastle a degree of encouragement. While competing with Europe's biggest clubs is never straightforward, the promise of Premier League football and a clearer pathway to regular minutes could work in our favour if we move decisively. Newcastle view Smit as a midfielder with a very high ceiling, according to Downie, fully aligning with Ross Wilson's vision of targeting elite European talent capable of developing into top-tier players on Tyneside. With Eddie Howe's track record of nurturing young technical prospects, the club believe they can offer the ideal environment for Smit to maximize his potential and grow into a long-term asset for the team. Despite this, Newcastle United appear to be widening their search for midfield reinforcements even more as the January transfer window approaches, with a new report linking the club to Club Brugge star Aleksandar Stanković. Transfer journalist Matteo Moretto recently revealed on Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel that Newcastle scouts have been monitoring the 20-year-old closely, traveling to Belgium several times this season to watch him in action. Their interest comes alongside growing Premier League attention, with Tottenham also tracking the Italy-born Serbian international. Stanković only joined Club Brugge from Inter Milan in July for a fee of €10 million, but that deal included a buyback clause for his former club. Inter can re-sign him for €23 million in 2026 or €25 million in 2027, setting up potential competition from Serie A should the midfielder's progress continue at its current trajectory. His performances this season have already drawn significant notice, particularly his role in the Champions League, where he has completed full matches against elite sides such as Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Atalanta, and Monaco. His versatility is another key asset, as he is capable of operating both as a defensive midfielder and as a centre-back. As a tall, composed, and tactically intelligent player standing at 6'1", Stanković has earned a reputation as one of the brightest young talents in Belgium. He may even feature against England in the upcoming World Cup qualifier, offering Newcastle an even clearer look at his abilities on the international stage. There is also strong football pedigree in his background, with Aleksandar being the son of Dejan Stanković, the former Serbia captain and Inter Milan icon, who made 368 appearances across spells with Inter and Lazio. Newcastle's interest signals another deliberate move toward recruiting high-potential European talent, though they will face stiff competition if they choose to pursue a formal bid. On the topic of young talents, Newcastle United are also weighing up the possibility of terminating Antonio Cordero's loan in January, with the club growing increasingly frustrated by his lack of minutes at KVC Westerlo. The teenager joined Newcastle on a free transfer last summer after leaving Malaga, and the plan from the outset was to send him out on loan to continue his development. His camp had hoped that the move would be to a club competing in Europe, as reported by AS in August, but instead he ended up in Belgium with Westerlo, a decision that so far has not paid off. Cordero has managed only 98 minutes across 7 appearances, has yet to start a single match, and has barely featured since late October, playing just 3 minutes in that period. He has also been left out of Westerlo's matchday squad in 3 of their last 4 league games. Speaking to Radio Marca, journalist Matteo Moretto explained that Newcastle are not impressed with how the loan has unfolded, and are now seriously considering bringing him back early, stating, "He's not getting much playing time, and the English club is considering terminating the loan." The 18-year-old Spain under-19 international had been playing regularly for Malaga last season, finishing the campaign with 6 goals and 6 assists in the Spanish second tier before impressing for his country's under-19. The expectation at Newcastle was that he would kick on from there, but the lack of meaningful minutes at Westerlo has stalled his progress. Whether that is the result of his performances in training or simply the wrong loan environment is unclear, but it does feel increasingly likely that Newcastle will recall him in January. If that happens, Eddie Howe is unlikely to integrate Cordero into the first-team squad just yet, making a second loan the most probable outcome. The priority will be finding a club that can offer him consistent playing time at the right level, allowing the winger to rebuild his momentum after a difficult first half of the season. But is Newcastle's loan system having deeper issues? Because another Newcastle talent, Travis Hearns, has had an even tougher time in the Netherlands, failing to register a single senior minute for Groningen in the Eredivisie. Although he recently picked up a knock, he was fit and selected for 6 consecutive matchday squads before that, and remained unused. His only action so far has been 60 minutes for their under-21 side. Game time he could have accessed far more easily had he stayed on Tyneside. On the other hand, Trevan Sanusi's struggles at Lorient have been injury-related, but equally frustrating, with the 18-year-old missing 9 Liga 1 games in a row due to an ankle issue and still awaiting his debut. In theory, loan moves should provide the ideal environment for Newcastle's young talents to develop, especially for those not yet established at Premier League or Champions League level. Instead, these ventures into competitive European leagues appear to be doing more harm than good for many of our rising prospects. Outside of Minte's successful spell at Feyenoord, the club has found limited success in using loans to aid development, with recent examples like Garang Kuol and Miodrag Pivas also struggling in previous seasons. This makes the timing of CEO David Hopkinson's 100-day review particularly significant. The loan system will almost certainly come under scrutiny, as it's hard to justify sending players abroad if they either aren't trusted, aren't playing, or aren't fit. For Cordero, a player courted by Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, and who impressed at this summer's under-19 Euros, a loan to a stable La Liga side may be far more beneficial than remaining in Belgium. Sanusi, who appeared to be edging closer to first-team involvement at Newcastle before his injury, may need a reset once he regains fitness. Hearns, once a promising EFL midfielder at Shrewsbury, has found himself stalled by a move that hasn't offered a single senior opportunity. For a 20-year-old with ambitions of breaking into the first team, this feels like a step backwards rather than forwards. The club's youth recruitment strategy remains promising, but unless the loan pathway is fixed, ensuring players are sent to environments where they'll genuinely develop, Newcastle risks stalling the progress of some of their brightest prospects. But in an exciting development, If you would want to know the new massive signing Newcastle has officially signed and announced, click the video link on screen now.